What's going on, everybody? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax with Prospect Hot Sheet Week 9. And this is a weekly series that I do where I give you the past 7 days hottest prospects so you guys can decide if you'd like to sell or buy the guys I put on this list. If you guys enjoy this content, please subscribe to my channel to help me reach my new goal of 10,000 subscribers. I've also got a Patreon page that has autograph checklist breakdowns from every Bowman release since 2019, including 2020 Bowman. I'll put a link to that in the description if you guys want to check it out. Well, without further ado, let's jump into the top 30 prospects from the past 7 days. Now, as always, before we jump into this, I want to go over how I utilize my graph. In the green, you can see that I have player, organization, age, level, and position. Now, I do put a decimal on the age to show you how close they are to approaching the next year, because 9 to 10 months can make a big difference in age for a lot of guys. And I also don't put anybody under 25. You can see the little under 25 logo there. The line is their past 7 days in purple, and the yellow stats are from their season. So you can kind of see how they're doing overall as opposed to just one small sample size of a week. But without further ado, let's jump into our top 15. First, we have Luis Angel Acuna making his first appearance on this list. He's 20 years old, playing in high A. He's stealing bags and the power is starting to show. I feel like he's going to be a big prospect in 2023. He hit 2 home runs this week and took 6 walks. On the season, he's hitting .291 with a .291 ISO P. And he is in 2020 Bowman Chrome for about $80 right now. He's going to do big things. At 14, we have Griffin Conine, a slugger who's almost 25. You can get his cards dirt cheap for $5 in 2018 draft. He's going to hit for a ton of power, and he's going to strike out a ton as well. You can see his K percentage on the season is 36.2, but he also carries a plus 200 ISO P. So definitely a guy to watch. He could be called up to the Blue Jays at any moment. At number 13, we have another K machine, Elly De La Cruz. I like the idea of De La Cruz being an exceptional athlete. I like the fact that he could have monstrous pop, but career-wise, he trends as a person who strikes out way too much. This is the second season he's played where he struck out a ton. He's striking out 31.9% of his at-bats. Now, he is 20.3 playing in high A, so he is young for the level. But these guys that strike out so much are a really big risk, especially for the price of his autos at $225 for a base auto right now. But De La Cruz is a high-risk guy. He's got a stratospheric ceiling. If you're willing to roll the dice on him, I'm not. I'm really weak with making big gambles. So that's up to you guys whether you decide to go with Elly De La Cruz or not. But he had a big week this week. He had a home run with a triple, 2 doubles, and 3 RBIs. Alaric Solari, this may be a good time to sell if his prices start to trend up. He had a big week. He hit 2 home runs. He's almost 23 playing in high A, so he's too old for the level. He is a utility guy for the Minnesota Twins. He's striking out a ton too this year, 30.4 K percentage. He's only hitting a $184 on the year with a sub 150 ISO P. Anything under 150 as an ISO P, I don't really get excited about. But he's in 2020 draft. His autos are selling for $5 before this hot sheet went out. So it may be a good time to try to dump some of those Solari autos. Sammy Infante, another guy who's a bit too old for his level. He's almost 21, playing in A-ball right now. He did hit 3 home runs this week, though, and his season ISO is 310, one of the highest ISOs on this prospect hot sheet this week. On the season, he's hitting .254 with a 30.3 K percentage. Now, what really gets me with the K percentage is how that he's 21 years old almost, and he's an A-ball and still striking out at a 30% clip, which is a bit worrisome for me. His autos are $25, and you can find them in 2020 Bowman Draft. We're going to jump to the top 10. So leading off our top 10 is my man, Colin Barber. I have a huge stash of Colin Barber. I've been collecting Colin Barber for about the last 2 years. I took him as a sleeper when I found out that he was doing some pretty big damage at the alternate site in 2020. When 2021 season rolled around, he played just a handful of games before he hurt his shoulder and required season-ending shoulder surgery. So Colin Barber really hasn't played his first full season in minor league baseball yet, and he's 21.4 playing in high A. So he was pretty much dumped in high A for his first professional full season. And he had a big week. He had 8 hits, a home run, a double, 3 walks, and 3 RBIs. The exciting thing here is on the season, he's hitting 300, so he's putting a lot of good balls in play, making good contact, but the ISOP is low. He does have some thump. I think he's just trying to find out how to get to it in the higher levels right now, but he's so cheap, it's almost a no-brainer. Now, his autos have gone up. They were about $10 to $12 a few months ago when I looked, and now they're up to $20, but you can find him in 2020 Bowman Chrome, which is kind of becoming a sleeper release, by the way. Up number 9, we have Tyler Black, a little old for high A. He's 21.9, about to be 22. Had 2 homers this year, or 2 homers this week. He's got great K percentage, 15.3. He's got a decent ISO at 175, and he's hitting 292 on the year. So he's putting together a pretty solid season in the Brewers organization in high A. But he's a little old for level. He could use a promotion for sure to double A, and that would test him significantly. So we could see where he's probably trending once he gets to double A. At number 8, one of my favorite players in minor league baseball, hands down, love this guy, Gunnar Henderson with the Baltimore Orioles, 20.9 years old. He's not even 21 yet, playing in double A. He had 7 hits this past week. He is getting a lot of work at third base, which I think everyone kind of came to terms that he was not going to be a shortstop, but he's kind of flip-flopping between shortstop and third base right now in double A. On the season, as a 20.9-year-old in double A, he's hitting 310 with a 248 ISOP, and check this out, a 16.5 K percentage. He's not striking out at all as a 20.9-year-old in double A. That's crazy, absolutely absurd. And over the past couple of weeks, his autos have been really, really hot. They're about $115 right now, and they are in 2019 draft, which is probably one of the biggest sleeper releases out there for Bowman right now. Number 7, we have Yoelqui Cespedes, 24.7. He's just about too old for the hot sheet, but he slid in 3 months before he got cut. In double A, he had 2 homers, had 8 hits, 3 doubles. He's hitting 268 on the season with a 216 ISOP and a 26.9 K percentage. I do look for him to be a contributor at the big league level with the Chicago White Sox, but I think superstar or star is going to be a stretch. At number 6, we have Blaze Alexander, who came out of the woodwork finally. A guy who has struggled the majority of his career, but he has grinded all the way to double A as a 22.9-year-old. Hit 2 bombs this week with 7 hits. On the season, having a big season. He's hitting 292 with a 225 ISOP. The Ks are a bit high at 21.8, but he's a $10 auto. And, after I think people see that Perdomo's struggling a bit at the big league level, and there's still a lot of time between Lawler coming up and filling those shoes at shortstop, Blaze Alexander could have a shot at some role on the infield in Arizona. I think his prices might rise a little bit, but it could be also a good time to sell because he's having a really good season, and it's kind of an anomaly for Blaze Alexander. But we're going to jump into our top 5. All right, guys, so here we are at our top 5. Leading off is a sleeper prospect out of 2021 draft. I had this guy in one of my videos for sleeper prospects. It's Hunter Goodman. Good news is he's raking. Bad news is he's 22.6 years old playing an A-ball. So he's a catcher and first baseman, but he hit 4 home runs this week. That guy desperately needs a promotion, but they do have Drew Romo ahead of him that needs to get his reps in high A. So he is an A-ball. He's hitting 278 on the season with a 290 ISOP, 27.5 K percentage, and his autos are going for about $12. So 2 things to consider. There's blue stats in 2 significant lines, age level and K percentage. And those are 2 areas you don't want to have blue stats in together. He's too old for his level, and he's striking out a bit too much in that level. So I'm not really sure what to say about Hunter Goodman right now, but he does have some big power. He could get promoted to high A, double A by the end of the year and go off. He's a kind of a big risk, but at $12, it's not much of a bad buy-in. At number 4, there is a guy who will not go away, Elijah Dunham. He just won't go away. He keeps coming back and putting together solid performances for the New York Yankees. He's in double A, 24-year-old outfielder. Hit a home run this week and had 9 hits, 2 doubles, 3 stolen bases, and 3 ribbies. On the season, he's hitting 271 with a 263 ISOP and a 20.3 K percentage. Big ISOP, great K numbers. Those are things I like. The things I don't like are his age. Now, it's hard to knock a guy for having age level in double A because it's one of the highest levels of minor league baseball. But he is 24. He's going to turn 25 soon. His auto's for $20 right now, around in 2021 Bowman Chrome. Number 3, probably the biggest breakout prospect next to Moises Gomez, is Esteury Ruiz with the San Diego Padres. He is having an absolutely incredible year. His autos have pretty much, I think, quadrupled. I think he was a $15 auto before we started the season, and now his autos are up to $50 because he's just doing everything. He's hitting for average, hitting for power, stealing bases. He's doing everything, and he's a utility guy on defense. So it's going to be very easy for the Padres to get his bat in the lineup. He can play infield, outfield. He can really do it all. 23.2 in Double-A, had 3 homers this week, was 7 for 18, and he stole 4 bases. Now on the season, in Double-A, he's hitting .341 with a .272 ISO and a 17.5 K percentage. Just stupid stats. Probably the best stat line on this hot sheet. The only reason he didn't take the number 1 spot this week is because the week performances were a bit better from Kelenic and Montero. But as far as season goes, he's having probably one of the top 10 best seasons in all of minor league baseball right now. So he is a guy to keep an eye on. If you've been holding him for a while, he may be a good guy to sell right now and get some ROI. And if you're excited about him, it could be a good time to buy too, because if he continues to play like this, his autos are going to continue to trend up. So it could be a win-win situation, but whatever you decide to do. Number 2, we have Elehuris Montero with the Colorado Rockies. Hit 3 dingers this week, was 10 for 22. Had 8 RBIs. He's 23.7 in his AAA. Now, he is a first baseman, limited defensively. His season average is .305 with a .215 ISOP and a 21.7 K percentage. All red stats across the board, and red means good. In this video, I've had some confusion. Red means hot, blue means cold. So that's how I use the colors in my videos. And when you got a guy that's got red across the board for the season, he's doing pretty well. He's doing pretty dang well. So that's Ruiz and Montero, both red across the board. But Ruiz has a lot more upside defensively and on the base paths. You can find Montero's cards in 2019 Bowman. Jared Kelenic is number 1 today. He is just flopping back and forth between AAA and the big leagues. The big thing with Kelenic are the strikeouts. He can't seem to figure out how to put more balls in play. He's got a lot of power. He makes hard contact, but he just doesn't make enough to be sufficient offensively at the highest level in the game. He did hit 3 home runs this week in AAA and had 9 hits. On the season in AAA, he's hitting .321 with a .322 ISOP, the highest ISO on this list. His autos are around $100, and you can find them way back in 2018 draft, but he's striking out nearly 40% of his at-bats. So the strikeouts continue to plague Kelenic. If he can figure out how to cut that number down, I think he could have a solid career in the MLB. But we're going to jump over to our honorable mentions. All right, I'm not going to try to go overboard with the honorable mentions here. I'm going to try to fly through these guys pretty quickly. We've got Brian Ramos having a really solid year, hit 3 home runs this week. Didn't hit for mud average, but the power is there. He's super young, 20.1 playing in high A with the Chicago White Sox. Logan Cerny out of nowhere, straight out of left field, is 22.7 playing A ball, so not a good combination there. He's a Astros prospect who had 6 hits and a home run this week. Johan Rojas had a really big year in 2021, kind of broke out. He's 21.8 playing in high A, had 6 hits, a triple, and 3 doubles. Johan Rojas is a very toolsy outfielder in the Phillies organization. Tyler Callahan, a guy I really like, another guy like Barber who's been kind of plagued by injury. He's an infielder with the Cincinnati Reds, 21.9 playing in A ball. A little old for the level, but he was 5 for 12 this week with a double and 5 walks. He can hit. He just hasn't had enough reps in his career yet to really get settled and comfortable in the minor leagues. Kevin Alcantara had a home run this week and 7 hits. He's 19.9 playing in A-ball. Warming Bernabel continues to rake with 2 doubles. He's a guy that kind of reminds me of Ramel Tapia, but he's 19.9 in A-ball. Trey Sweeney, a big power guy, had 2 home runs this week and 6 hits. He's 22.1 playing in high A for the Yankees. J.C. Correa, 23.7 high A, had 9 hits and a home run. My man Drew Romo, just got done talking about him in the top 15, had a home run and 5 more hits to just continue to rake is what he does. 20.8 playing in high A. Wenceel Perez, a guy you probably need to sell because right now he is having a pretty good season and it is a bit of an anomaly. I wouldn't say it's a complete outlier, but he is putting up numbers that are not really consistent with his career. This week he had a home run, 6 hits. He's 22.6 in high A, bit over the level. Maybe a good time to dump some Wenceel Perez along with Dynasty Nunez, who is 21.8 in high A. He had 9 hits this week with 4 stolen bases. Maybe another guy to look into selling. I think he only has a first chrome. I do not think he has a first chrome auto back in 2019 draft. Zach Veen, this dude can absolutely fly. I watched him steal a base on Twitter this week on a pitch out, and he was safe by about 3 steps. It was pretty crazy. Zach Veen is super tools freak, and he's going to be a really good player down the road for the Rockies. He's 20.4 in high A, stole 5 bases, had a home run. He just does everything, took 7 walks. He's a really good player. I really like Zach Veen. He's going to be an exciting guy when he gets to Colorado. Nick Lofton, Double-A, Kansas City Royals. That system is stacked on the infield, but he had a home run and 9 hits. He's 23.7 Double-A. And 2 names to finish this up that you are going to recognize are Francisco Alvarez and Ezequiel Tovar. Alvarez started off a bit slow, but he's been trending up as the season moves on. He just looks like a guy who's getting comfortable in Double-A at 20.5 years old nonetheless. And he hit 2 home runs this week and had 6 hits as a 20.5-year-old in Double-A. Tovar is just kind of like one of those guys like Ruiz, like Esteury Ruiz, that's just having a mind-boggling blowout crazy season. He's like the Anthony Volpe of 2021, just doing everything well. Can't get him out, plays solid defense. He's 20.9 in Double-A, having an astonishing year. So Tovar is probably one of the biggest breakouts next to Esteury Ruiz in 2022 so far. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode of Prospect Hot Sheet, where I give you the hottest prospects from the past 7 days. And it gives you information that you can decide whether you want to buy or sell some of these guys, or you just want to watch to have fun and check out some cards. Either way, if you enjoy this content, please subscribe to my channel and help reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. You can also check out my Patreon page. I'll put a link to that in the description, where I have autograph checklist breakdowns for all releases, all Bowman releases since 2019, including 2022 Bowman. I've got a top 100 Bowman Chromes autos list and a top 100 Bowman Chrome autos under $50 list as well. But I appreciate all my patrons, all you guys that support me on the channel. Y'all have a good one and happy hunting.